Happy New Year and welcome to Laser Reviews. Today I'm going to... This doesn't feel right. So much better. Where were we? Yes. Happy New Year. Welcome to Laser Reviews. This video will be me going over all the good movies I watched in 2025. I made a video like this last year, so for all the good movies I watched in 2024, although in that video I also covered a lot of the bad movies, the worst movies I watched in 2024. This year I want to enter the new year full of positivity, so no more bad movie talk. I'll ignore all the bad movies I watched, and I think also that's partially because I watched so many bad movies. I changed my viewing practices. I started watching a lot of weird things I found on YouTube, and honestly a lot of it isn't good. A lot of it is even terrible. So I watched a lot of terrible movies and there's no reason to talk about them. Let's just talk about the good shit. Let's enter the new year. Let's start this year on a positive note. I'm not actually that good at that thing, so I don't know, New Year's resolution or something. Let's be positive. No more negative reviews. I'm going to talk about Terminator Genesis. I cannot stick to that. So, okay, there will be definitely negative reviews in the next year. I will not only stay positive, that would be disingenuous, but let's at least stay positive in this video. And one final note, don't expect many movies that came out in 2025. I counted them and I have watched two. I watched two films that came out last year, or by the time of recording, this year. So don't expect anything really topical. It won't be. A lot of it really won't be. So get strapped in, and I still feel like we're missing something. Yeah, that's it. Another film from the 70s I watched is A Woman Under the Influence. It's a very good character drama, character study at someone dealing with mental illness while also being a mother. And I'm not really sure what else I can say because I really want to do the film justice, and just throwing a few buzzwords out there might not really do it. It's very impactful. The acting is astonishing. I forgot the name of the lead actress, but she's doing such a good job in this film. And all the other characters are good as well. You have this husband, this dad, who's not really a great dad. He's a bit of an asshole. He's quite dumb in many ways. He probably does a lot of things in raising these children that he shouldn't really do, and he's not the best husband, but he's trying. He's trying to be a good husband. He's trying to love his wife despite the difficulties. He's really fighting his family. He's fighting the society he's in, who's not really accepting this wife with these psychological problems. If you haven't seen it, I think it's also one of those films I watched on YouTube. It's really good. Yeah, I can highly recommend it. It's very long though. You need to know that you're in for a long, slow, but emotionally impactful and immersive film.
April's not crazy. She's unusual.
And talking about the 70s and previously mentioned sci-fi, I also watched The Stepford Wives. I actually watched the original and the remake. And I loved both of them, but for different reasons. Like the remake, it is still really a funny film. It's one that really wears its satire on its sleeves. It's not as subdued as the original. I think the original is a better movie. It's better at satirizing the society it's in a believable manner without coming off as cliche. And the remake is definitely a comedy, whereas the original, it is a comedy, but it with also a lot of thriller elements, and of course it's a sci-fi. So both films are great, and I think again, I think I found both of them on YouTube if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, both are good movies, and I can recommend them. And it probably is quite a wild statement to say that Stepford Wives from what way is it, 2004 or something is a good movie, but no, I liked it. I did like it.
All of your wives, they're so, sizzling.
To Stepford!
Then there's a film that I will not say much about because the review of it hasn't come out yet, but I watched From Beyond. That's an excellent movie, and if you want to know why, wait for my review of it. Then I watched The Wraith, which is a mid-80s Charlie Sheen, supernatural, sci-fi, race thriller, horror thriller, with bonkers performances. It has a lot of really great side characters, and if you like stupid movies from the 80s, then yes, this is a movie you would probably enjoy. It's really an enjoyable 80s movie.
Ghost! An evil spirit, and it ain't cool!
Another film I watched is Dog Day Afternoon, which is quite a classic. You have Al Pacino and the younger brother from The Godfather. They are robbing a bank to finance a sex change operation for Al Pacino's girlfriend. And yes, this is based on true events. If you like your bank robber heist movies from the 70s with a lot of political, social commentary added to it, then it's a really good film. It's a really good story. It's a very interesting, well, real event as well that you can read into if you don't just buy into what the film is telling you. It's a good film. It's a really good film. And after watching Dog Day Afternoon, I watched Airheads, and there are scenes in Airheads that are taken directly from Dog Day Afternoon, which is quite interesting. Airheads is a good movie as well. I'm not sure. I don't think it really makes this list. I would say it's a 3.5-star film, so I'm not going to talk about it any more than I already have. But it's not a bad film. Dog Day Afternoon is a great film.
We're entertainment, right? What do you got for us?
The Last Man on Earth from I think it's 64, and it is more maybe famous today more as the film that I Am Legend pretty much took its plot from. Maybe I'm cheating a bit or being a bit dishonest by putting it on this list because the pacing is a bit off. The acting is very, well, for the 60s. There are a lot of aspects about this film that didn't age that well. I also watched The Omega Man this year, and if you like these stories about one man, potentially the last man on Earth, fighting off a horde of beings that you are trying to understand and trying to also understand what actually keeps this man going. Is it only the memories of the world that was before him? Is it trying to change the world for the better, to find a cure? Any hope in what's left? Why are these people struggling when they're seemingly only struggling to live another day in a world that is absolutely devoid of hope and love? This is not the best retelling of the themes of this film, but if you like that kind of movie, then you would probably like The Last Man on Earth.
Vampires, alive among the lifeless, that make the night hideous with their inhuman cravings.
Ivan's Childhood. One of the early Tarkovsky movies. It is taking place during the Second World War. Your main protagonist is Ivan. He's a child. They're in the name. If the Red Army came across children, particularly boys who were abandoned, who had lost all their parents, orphans, they would adopt them to the regiment. Of course, they were not meant to serve on the front line. They would often have auxiliary roles or simply just, being there to keep up the spirits of the soldiers. Ivan is just such a child, and he has volunteered to be a scout for the Red Army, who is reluctantly using him because times are desperate and he's really good at his job, but of course they're also really worrying that he will lose his life. It is this grueling tale that is very honest, much more honest, and when I say brutal, you shouldn't understand it as being graphic. It really isn't, but it's brutally honest in a way you don't really see in Soviet movies. It came out of a very interesting era in Soviet cinema where they did loosen the restrictions a bit, or censorship. There were movies that came out in these early mid-60s that were quite interesting, and Ivan's Childhood is one of them. For example, it's touching on some subjects that I can't really talk about on YouTube. You definitely couldn't really talk about it in the Soviet Union at the time. You probably can't really talk about it in Russia today, and it's also a problem that takes place within the ranks of many armies. I know the US Air Force, the US Army, the Navy, they have problems with this as well. And what can I say? It's about how male members of the army treat female members of the army. It's a slow movie. You might not like the pacing that much. It's a bit more of a character study. So it's a movie, it sort of starts in a bit of in medias res, in that it has a beginning that doesn't necessarily feel like a beginning, and it has an end that doesn't necessarily feel like an end. If you like any of other Tarkovsky movies, then probably see this, if you haven't already.
Ослаб, видно. А может, прикидывается.
So talking a bit about bleak movies, I can also talk about Virus from 1980. It's a film from Japan that, if you look at reviews of it, people don't like it. I understand a bit why. The pacing is a bit off. A lot of the performances aren't stellar, but it is an apocalyptic movie that is very interesting. It is about this virus that is leaked by accident during the Cold War. You have this drama of trying to solve a health crisis with an extremely deadly virus while also having all the troubles of the Cold War. But it's a long movie and it has a lot of different chapters. So a lot of the movie, I'll not spoil what's going to happen, but a lot of the movie isn't really about this big politics game, but it becomes politics and survival on a more micro scale. It's very somber and it's very political. Of course, it's very critical of Cold War politics. It's very critical of incompetence on both sides, on selfishness and inhumanity, and also positive in a way of coming together at times of crisis, at times of needs, and actually working together for a solution or to simply save humanity. It's slow. The quality I found it on YouTube. The video quality wasn't great, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good political movie. It was a really good character study. And there are a lot of things that happen in the movie, a lot of decisions people have to make, a lot of situations people find themselves in that are just disturbing. but in a really good way. And it's very interesting to see how they quite realistically, I would say, handle these situations.
MM88 is an accident. Frankenstein monster masquerading as a virus.
And another film from the 80s is Demonoid. It's a supernatural Mexican horror film that's very odd. And I don't know what else to say about it, so just know that I can definitely recommend Demonoid. And it's another film I found on YouTube.
If thy hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it aside.
And yet another film where I don't really know what to say. Dr. Caligari, also from the 80s. This is such an odd movie. And I can see why you would absolutely hate it. It feels very pretentious. It feels so full of itself. I would say it's quite exploitative, and the guy who made it only made exploitation films, particularly sexploitation films. This also has elements of it, and it's called Dr. Caligari. It is taking place in the same world as The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. One of the main characters is the daughter of Caligari, and it's just such a strange film. The aesthetics are all over the place. The acting is, if you can even call it acting, it is beyond theatrical. The writing, the dialogue is like if you told a high schooler to do an erotic retelling of Shakespeare. It is really a strange film. And there were moments that I absolutely hated. There are a few characters in the film that I absolutely cannot stand, and I hate every single moment they're on screen. But it's an experience. It's such a strange film. And therefore I can only recommend it. I can see why you would hate it. I will not say it's an objectively good film. It's probably an objectively a garbage film. But I like this kind of garbage.
Excitement's the essence of life. When it's over, you're dead.
And before moving to films that are a bit more straightforward, another film I want to highlight is Living in Oblivion from, I think it's 95. It's a film about making movies. It's a very auteur, very mid-90s way of making movies. It reminds me a lot about French movies where you have these stories that are told from multiple perspectives and you're not really sure what's real and what's not. It's very grounded in reality, but because they're making a film in it, and because some of these aspects of it, I'm not gonna say why, but some of these perceptions of it are not completely grounded in reality, it also comes off as really odd and obscure at times. It's a good film. Another one I just found on YouTube. I had no idea going into it. What was it? I just saw, hey, Steve Buscemi is in it, so probably not gonna be too bad. And no, it wasn't. It was quite good. I can recommend it. I wouldn't say it's art house, but it's quite artsy, as movies about making movies tend to be.
What? It's pretty heavy.
Which is disturbing the dwarf.
Done with all that art bullshit. Let's talk about action. Talons of the Eagle. Talons of the Eagle is a Billy Blanks and Jalal Merhi? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Action film. Martial arts action film that is really stupid, as pretty much all the movies are, but really fun. It's a buddy cop movie that also turns into Karate Kid and then turns into undercover buddy cop movie. If you like your silly action movies from the 80s and 90s, this is from the 90s, and like a lot of good martial arts and just good action scenes, a lot of stupid lines, this is very entertaining. This is a really good film of that era.
The only way out, showtime, is to break out.
Talking about other good movies from that era that I think deserve a bit more love, American Shaolin. This is such a silly film. This is a Karate Kid, but in China. It's about this American who apparently didn't learn enough from his teacher in America, who faked being a Shaolin. So he goes to China to be a Shaolin in China. It's full of all the silly things you would expect from a coming of age or like high school comedy from the 90s, from the early 90s, I should add. Maybe it has too many, let's give this American culture to these Chinese people, see how they react. But it's very wholesome. It has some generally funny moments. It has a lot of slapstick as well. It's a good film that's a bit funny, has some martial arts, and it's good. It's good.
Drew learns that the martial arts teach many things, but not revenge.
I also watched a comedy that I'd seen parts of it as a child and just never finished the film. And it's sort of a cardinal sin to not have watched this film earlier, but Clerks. It's good. It's still very good. You can really feel that this film was made by Kevin Smith while he was himself working in this kind of retail job. This dead-end job where you're all into your 20s, if not already your 30s, and your life is not really going anywhere. Everything is a bit bleak and you're just trying to carve out an existence for yourself while maybe still hoping and living for something better. But in your suburban America, it's probably not coming your way. It really captures this atmosphere very well, while also being quite funny and having a lot of funny characters. It's not completely grounded in reality, at least not any reality I know, but whatever is abnormal or odd about it just adds to the atmosphere and to the humor of this universe.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
Another 90s comedy I watched on YouTube is the wrong guy. It is starring one of the guys from The Kids on the Block, this Canadian sketch comedy show that is also quite funny. It's a shenanigans comedy with a lot of very silly moments. It's about a guy who believes he's framed for murder because he's an idiot, but actually he's not framed for murder, but acts like he is, and it leads to a lot of funny scenes. You know this kind of movie, this kind of silly comedy from the early 90s, and it's just a good one of them. I liked it.
I must live in hiding, never able to rest, never a moment's peace, starting at every noise. What's that, I'll say?
And another very 90s movie I watched is Hologram Man. To call it a Demolition Man ripoff is being a bit disingenuous. It has a lot of the elements from Demolition Man, but it's a $2 action sci-fi film where humans can become holograms and then fight each other. And it's just really silly, but I loved the hell out of it. I can really recommend it, and it's also available on YouTube.
Better luck next time, buddy.
But next time, he'll need more than luck. He will need time and the technology to transform himself into what the enemy has become.
And two more movies before we move into the new millennium. We have Rock and Roll Nightmare. John Michael Thor fighting weird creatures, weird rubber creatures in this cabin in Canada. I would say if you do watch it, give it a chance. The first 30, 40, maybe in 50 minutes of the film are really slow, but the ending is absolute cinema. One of the most spectacular endings to any film I've ever seen. It comes right out of left field. It's beautiful. This is what movies are made of.
Aber sie täuschen sich. Die Gefahr ist in ihnen selbst.
Maniac Cop. One of the last films I actually watched this year. And it's a really good film. It has Bruce Campbell, it has Robert Zadar. Very well paced. A lot of good minor characters. A lot of really quirky elements. It has a decent enough story for this type of slasher. And just very good scenes. Very graphic scenes as well. And it's just quite good. And I might even do a review of it sometime. Alongside the two sequels.
When a cop turns killer, you have the right to remain silent. Forever.
So let's get into the Greek. And it is surprisingly funny. I was really worried going in because, well, some of the things that have since happened or come out regarding the lead characters, the lead protagonists, or rather, you know, who's playing them. And if you can stomach watching these people, knowing what they have done, then you would probably enjoy this film. It's a very entertaining comedy from 2009, from this period where, of course, it's the time where I went to school and high school, so that might be why I'm particularly biased, but I think comedy in a way peaked around this era. You might even say it's not where it peaked, but it was the last good era we had of comedy, lasting a bit into 2010s. Smack down in the middle of this era of what I would say is brilliant comedy, and not necessarily unproblematic comedy, but good comedy nonetheless. And this is one of those movies. It's full of really funny lines, really funny moments, really good performances in general. It's just a lot of fun. I can really recommend it.
Okay, now that's making me feel uncomfortable.
And then we have Freaks. What can I say about Freaks? Honestly, I don't want to say too much because you need to go into this movie blind. It is one of those movies where you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in it for the first 30-40 minutes. You have no idea what this universe is. You have no idea who's trustworthy, who is not. It's just a very immersive film. I think it falls a bit apart the more you think about the film. There are some aspects of it that I didn't like as much. But when I read that they had, I think it was a budget of $1,000. And what they do with these 1,000 Canadian dollars is spectacular. This is a masterpiece when you factor in the budget. And even without factoring in the budget, it's a really, really, really good film that honestly puts 99% of modern cinema to shame.
Wanna know what's in an ice cream truck? Frozen kid bodies.
Another film I also watched quite late this year, Strange Darling. It's not shot in chronological order. It has a bit of this Tarantino-esque, Robert Rodriguez-esque way of telling the story that's quite reminiscent of Pulp Fiction in that it doesn't run in chronological order. So you're also trying to really structure together or understand what's really happening in the film while watching it. That's why you need to go into it blind. Really strong performances and has a lot of really quite disturbing scenes as well. The last film before moving into my top picks for 2025, Money Plane. If you want to bet on a man fucking an alligator, Money Plane. Now let's move into the good stuff. I'll start with 3 lesser picks of the greatest, so the worst of the best. One of them is Donnie Brasco. Again, I hadn't seen it before. It's another film that's based on true events, a true story. And it's another film with Al Pacino in it. And I think I'm starting to realize that Al Pacino might be one of my favorite actors, which again, shouldn't really be a controversial take. I always thought I was a bit more into Robert De Niro. But no, this film with Al Pacino in it, and Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is good in this film as well. It's a really stellar performances. It also has Michael Madsen. It has a stellar cast, and it has overall really, really good plot. If you like your mafia movies from the 90s or crime movies from the 90s, early 2000s, then watch Donnie Brasco. I don't know why you haven't seen Donnie Brasco yet. Maybe you're like me and that's why you haven't watched it yet, because you're an idiot. watch Donnie Brasco.
Wise guy never carries his money in a wallet, see? Always in a roll. Bina on the outside.
Then I also watched, normally don't even include documentaries in these videos, but I think this one does stand out. Dirty Wars. It's a very horrifying dive into American warfare, primarily shadow warfare in the 21st century. If you want to know what's really going on behind the scenes, at least if what's in this film is true, then watch Dirty Wars.
Who were these men that stormed into Daoud's home, and why would they go to such horrifying lengths to cover up their actions?
And the final of these three films I'm mentioning here is Cold in July. I think you can call it a neo-western with thriller elements, and I don't want to spoil it really, but it's you have someone coming to terms with their son having done horrible things, and with other people getting involved in it as well. Then they need to find out what they're gonna do about it, which is a terrible retelling of it. It has some really gruesome scenes. It's very slow as well. The pacing isn't great, but I think I was immersed from start to finish. It's just a very, very, very strong film, and I can definitely recommend it if you like your slow burn thrillers with disgusting human beings in them.
You're Dane, right? Your boy. He looks a whole lot like you, doesn't he?
Okay, so undoubtedly the best of the best films this year, and I'll start with Sinners. Not controversial, Sinners is a masterpiece. It's a really, 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 really good film. This is fucking what cinema's made of, okay? This is such a good film. It's a artistic masterpiece. Musically, it's blowing the roof off. Is that the thing? Performances are astonishing. It's such a good film. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what that guy makes next.
Hey, get back inside.
TC2000. This is another Billy Blanks film, this time taking place in a post-apocalyptic future filled with bodybuilders who are fighting each other for resources. It also has Merhi in it. It has this German guy in it who's essentially the German Arnold. It has a lot of really good martial arts scenes. It has a really stupid plot, but that really works. And it also has Bolo Young as a protagonist. I only see him being the evil guy. We actually see him being the good guy in this film. This is one of the best action films I've seen in a very long time. It is definitely one of the best low-budget or B-tier, C-tier action films of the 90s. I can say that without a doubt. And it is really, really strong contender for some of the best action movies out there.
Death to the underworld!
There's only 3 more movies left on this list, and I'll start with the one that is a genuine masterpiece. Buddies is an LGBTQ+ film from the mid-80s about a guy who is dying of AIDS, and he's assigned a buddy who is going to be his friend while he's dying, essentially while he's rotting away in his hospital bed. It's extremely low budget. It's a film I just came across, I think again, maybe I came across it on YouTube, I actually don't remember. But it's so powerful. The performances are so strong. The themes are so overpowering. Like, it's people grappling with death and life and a society that rejects them, a society that does nothing to help them. The Reagan years were extremely homophobic, even if homosexuality was no longer criminalized. AIDS was called the gay plague, and it's just dealing with all these ways in the most human way possible. And I get goosebumps. This was such a good movie. This is really a somber film with just holy shit, man. This is a really, really good film. I can see why it would not be for everyone. It is very slow. Honestly, not much happens. It's just this character dynamic that is so strong.
Maybe somebody reads it and becomes more careful sexually. Or they get angry and they write a letter to the mayor and asks why more isn't being done.
Okay, so let's talk about movies where something does happen. Champagne and Bullets, aka Get Even. It's directed, produced, written, sound design, and starring, main protagonist of course, John D. Hart, if that's even his real name. If you like your So Bad It's Good movies, if you like vanity projects, then it doesn't get any better than this. This is peak vanity project, peak So Bad It's Good. And to top it all off, John D. Hart is void of charisma. But he made the brilliant decision of hiring Wing Hauser. So what you get is a completely insane, drunken Wing Hauser chewing the scenery. And when you don't have him delivering all the best of the film, you have William Smith, who's actually also in Maniac Cop, being such a malevolent villain. Holy shit, that guy. This is such a crazy film. And I loved it. It's one of the best, worst movies I've ever seen, and most entertaining movies in general.
Make it hurt? Not a problem. Get the fuck out of the way.
So, that only leaves us with one movie left. And what can that be? Well, it's the one and only Who Killed Captain Alex? This is a Ugandan action film with a budget of, I think, $64 that is so DIY that any fan of cinema should appreciate the living hell out of this. This is dedication to the craft. All the weapons in the movie are made by tying pipes and sticks of woods together. The people behind this and all the people in it are just giving this movie it all. They are really dedicating themselves to this brilliant film. And I should also mention, in Uganda, they have these VJs, which is a bit like a DJ, but people who are commenting on the movie. If you get it, you should definitely watch it with this VJ soundtrack. At first, I had no idea what was going on, but then I remembered having heard about this VJ thing. It's a completely new way of watching movies. Hats off. This is honestly among probably my top 30 favorite films of all time. I don't know what can I even say about this film. It is movie. It is movie. This is the movie. Captain Alex. You should watch it. It is the best. The absolute best. This is how you make movies. And honestly, everybody could learn something from this, because if you can make this kind of movie with love and $64, what does that say about the current state of Hollywood? I guess Freaks also told us that.
Now expect the unexpectable. He fights drugs and uses drugs.
So, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you'll watch some good movies. And I guess have a good 2026. I hope to see you for my probably not so stellar reviews. I still have Terminator franchise to finish. Yeah, I'll also be uploading a lot of video game reviews. I know, not really my thing, but I like them, so I'll talk about them. Take care.
Now it's time to see real action.